I believe in you. Maker of stars, the sun and moon, heaven and earth, designed by you. Oh, I believe in you. To my weary heart, broken and bruised. Hello, everybody. Welcome you guys to the Thursday broadcast of the Heal Life. As you guys are coming in, let me know where you're tuning in from. We do not own the rights to the music that is being played on this live broadcast, but we do have permission to play it. Thank you guys for joining me. Go ahead and share. Y'all know we always bring the smoke on Thursdays when we do the Heal Life. So y'all can just get ready. We're going to have an amazing time. And y'all know that everything that I talk about has a form of healing built into it. Everything that God does has healing in it. So we want to make sure that you get your girlfriends, your sons, daughters, your families, your groups on tonight. Hello, Higher Ground. Pastor Tina's in. Welcome, welcome. Conroe, Texas is in the house. Kiwana's in the house. So West Monroe is in the house. Louisiana. Yes. If y'all would go ahead and share to your pages. We want to get as many likes, shares as we do likes. Thank you guys for tagging already. Thank you, Kiwana, for sharing that inside of Higher Ground. Thank you for sharing with your sisters. All right, you guys, listen, this has been one of the months that we have been so intentional about, you know, the order that we've done, the Heal Life. Every time I get ready to come on to do this broadcast, in between my courses, I really pray about who I want to come on and interview, and also the time and the date, because timing matters with God. You know, there's a timing that grace is attached to. And so I want you guys to know that we're in a graceful place tonight. We're in a place that I've prayed about. And the Heal Life is not just a broadcast, but it is a platform that shares the testimonies and the healing journeys and discovery journeys of women and sometimes men. And it really gives people hope that may feel stuck. They may feel like, you know what, I'm coasting. I'm in my 40s. My kids are grown. You know, if it hadn't happened for me right now, I don't think it's going to happen. But that's not the case. If you decide that you want to start over, beginning again is a beautiful place. Starting over can be one of the most beautiful places that you could ever be in. And I want to encourage you. Thank you, Kimberly Wells. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for sharing. I want to invite you guys to just take about 45 minutes with us and just chill with us tonight on the Heal Life broadcast. So the Heal Life broadcast, if this is your first time tuning in, is a broadcast that highlights women and sometimes men, because I don't want you guys to feel like we leave you out. Sometimes I've had men on the broadcast as well, but majority women, and it tells their triumph, tragedy to triumph story. It really gives you a picture of what's possible if you decide to invest in your own field. And so that's one of my sayings, that your field is good and it will produce if you sow seed into it. And so Val Irving is one of those people that you can't deny she's got this radiant light on her, but I want her to tell her story, and I can't tell it. I mean, she's got to be the one to tell it, but I want her to tell her story because I believe she represents a sector of women that are so gifted and that serve and that's comfortable with being in the background, but has a leadership call on their life. And God wants to pull you out of this place where you feel like, why do I feel stuck? Well, you feel stuck because you're not in position in the seat, you know, in that leadership seat that God has always destined for you. And even though you've been gleaning and groomed, you've been groomed for a seat. You know, y'all, we've been talking about this seat for a while. You've been groomed for a seat. And I need all of y'all to say, there's a seat with my name on it, right? Because I believe that purpose is a seat. When you are even in your processing, in your pruning, you're in a seat. And God prepares that seat for you because nobody else can sit in that seat but you. Nobody can take your place. And it's empty until you decide that you're going to take your seat. Okay. There's a void in the earth. And so I want us to give us some love as she comes on. Val Irving is a minister. She's a self-care coach. She's got a great sense of humor. And she's a truth teller. She's gonna tell the truth. Okay. And I call her my little firecracker because it's like when she gets lit, you're just like, woo! We didn't expect all that to come out of that little small package, right? But she's doing some phenomenal things for the kingdom in business in the marketplace. And I want to share her with you tonight. For those of you that may not know her, we want to welcome Miss or Minister Coach Val Irving in the chat on the Heal Life tonight. Y'all give us some love as she comes in.
Hey, hey.
Yes.
Hey, y'all, hey. Hey, y'all, hey.
Y'all, look, and I told her, I've said this so many times, when is the glasses line going to come out, right?
Listen, I've already told God we're going to have to do it because I am all about some frames. Listen, absolutely.
She has the cutest frames, and I think she's inspired me to try to step my frame game up, but y'all, I can't touch her. How many pair of glasses do you have, Val?
I don't know. I can really go in there and just kind of depend on what I got on. I can switch them all out. I love a good frame. I really do.
Yeah, we're going to have to add that to the business, the entrepreneur side of you. But welcome. We want to thank you so much for coming in, taking the time out, because we know time is precious. You're busy and you're doing a whole lot of things. But if you had to describe yourself to the women or the audience tonight, how would you want to describe yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I think, first of all, I would tell you that just like so many of us, that I am a survivor of much. Okay. Mm-hmm. So many of us, we've been through the fire, we've come through. But what I'm so happy about right now in my life, I feel like I've come through the fire and I don't even smell like the smoke. Okay. So I'm definitely a survivor of much. I am an avid traveler. Travel is my passion. Prior to the pandemic, I was in them international streets. I like to, I've been to Paris like 3 different times. I've been to Italy. I've been to Greece, been to Hawaii. I love to travel. In these last 3 years, though, I have become Coach Val Irving, your good girlfriend. What do you mean, good girlfriend? Your good girlfriend, who don't need one? She's ride or die, right? She's with you through breakdown to breakthrough. From setback to comeback. That's me. I'm your good girlfriend in these self-care streets. I feel as if, so many of us we've struggled in that area. We've let ourselves go. We've not known, even what self-care looks like for us. And so as God has called me into this arena, into this, it's kingdom work, right? He's called me into this place, and I believe that as your good girlfriend, I want to ensure that you begin to find out what self-care looks like for you, that you begin to put yourself on your to-do list. Not that you're not going to love everyone else, not that you're not going to take care of everybody else, but if you're not taking care of you, I promise you're not taking as good a care of everybody else as you believe you are. So, right. I think that's who I would kind of wrap myself up in a nutshell. I'm your traveler. I'm a survivor of much. I can identify with you. For the most part, if women would stop being angry with each other and competing with one another, we would really find out that I'm just like you. Wow. And you just like me. We've been through so many of the same things over and over and over again. And I'm just here to say you're not by yourself.
Wow. So Val, tell us kind of where you were this time last year, because I think you've been in ministry a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're in the marketplace as well. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to do things well and help everybody, but it's also easy to get lost in all of that as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah. I want you to kind of tell us last year this time, or even maybe a little bit over a year this time. You've gone through, you talked about your process, and you're going to talk about your process, but you talked about being, a traveler, but then God starts dealing with you about being in this quiet place, which I'm assuming was difficult.
Yeah.
Because you traveled to get away.
I traveled to get, it was my way of escape. I didn't have to face my life. I didn't have to face what I was going through, because, you know, I am actually my most relaxed when I'm traveling, but I was lying to myself. And I'm gonna tell you, it might be all right to lie to somebody else, but when you lying to yourself, it is a dark place. And I'm gonna go back. You said, you know, kind of tell the people where you were. It was longer than last year. So I was one of those people that was wanting a relationship. I wanted a relationship, and I always picked the wrong man. I know I'm not the only person. Excuse me. I always picked the wrong guy. And I just was in that cycle. I stayed in that cycle for so long. And that this last relationship that I was in around 2017, it just took all the wind out of my sails. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I'm like, I didn't understand. Why not me? Why not me? Why am I never chosen? Why am I not ever the one? Why is it okay to break my heart? Why? Wow. And so instead of dealing with it, I took 5 years to hide from it. So I started shopping, and I kept traveling real hard, and I looked real pretty on the outside, and I was a broken, shattered, destroyed, dark mess on the inside. I mean, period. I was a mess. But I put makeup on it. I put some new glasses on it. I stayed dressed. I went to work. I carried a new bag. I did all the things. And I was just so broken. And it was 2021 during the pandemic. I know everybody was like, that pandemic, oh my God, those 2 lost years. That was the year I got found. That was the year I got found, because God had taken the church, right? And he had dumped it upside down, shook it out, because he was tired of that. And so, and even talking about that, you know, I was in ministry. I've been in ministry a long time, but I could go and look the part and shout it and speak in tongue and cry and look like I was getting a breakthrough, and go home and still just, okay, just saying. So I'm doing all those things, and I'm in all the places, but I'm not having a relationship with God. Not really. Not really. If you looked at me, you thought I was, oh, shoot, she filled with the Holy Ghost. Hallelujah. Praise God. But in 2021, I had an encounter with God. See, while everybody we couldn't go to church, right? You couldn't go into the building at the time. So he met me here. He kicked my door open at my house and was like, we're gonna get to the root of the matter, ma'am. And the root of the matter, why you think the relationships fail because of other people. You think the relationship don't work because of somebody else. But let me put the mirror up to you, right? Because my girlfriends was like, girl, you dodged the bullet. He wasn't ready. And God said, yeah, but he dodged the bullet too. That was a slap in the face. I mean, what you mean, God? I ain't all that. And he was like, no, because what about this? And then he started coming down the list. He started coming down the line. And he was like, these are the things that you lied about. These were the things that you didn't disclose. So when were you going to tell him? When y'all got married? When was he going to find this out? When, you know, so he revealed it all to me. So during this encounter, we think God shows up in an encounter, in a place of encounter, and it's just all glory. But he started ripping layers off and making me see things. Yeah, true. True. He started pulling back layers and making me see me. And he was like, no, we're going to do some work right here. Right. And we began to do it. Y'all, I wish I had brought my Moses tablets out here. That's what I call them. You've seen them. You've seen my Moses tablets. I showed them to the group, and God sat me down, y'all, and he talked to me. And I wrote out everything front and back, 2 pages, two notebooks full of God getting me together. And let's talk about that traveling. He said, yeah, I've allowed you to go to all these places with no money. He said, what you think I'm gonna let you do if you let me get you together? Look where you've been and you ain't doing it right. Look where I've allowed you to go. And I know y'all hear me. It's not about the traveling. It was what God was, even in my state of not being right with him. These are the things he was still allowing to happen. These were the blessings that he
Right.
was still allowing to take place in my life. Right? People like, oh my God, you've been to Paris, you've been to the Eiffel Tower, you've been to Rome, you've been to the Vatican City, you've been. Yeah. Didn't deserve it. God's like, let me work on you. Let me have you. And so during that encounter time, he worked on me and he began to show me. And I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful for the work, but it hurt and it was work. It was
Yeah.
absolutely work. And
Yeah.
so doing that work, so I had done some work by the time I came into contact with you. So some work had been done. And so, when you've done some work, you think you've done the work. No. You've done some work. You have not done the work.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when I met you, I was feeling pretty good because I had done some work. And you started talking about healing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in a good place. I done forgave him and I hope he's doing well and all the things. And you start talking about, healing is perpetual, right? It's not a one and done. You got to, you find yourself in stages and places of healing. And then you found this place to be healed. And then guess what? You've
There's
healed it. Now you're healed enough to see this new place that needs to be healed. And so when I encountered you, and I'm grateful that I did. I'm so grateful that I did. When I encountered you and I heard you talking about this healing that you needed and purpose in your life and kingdom work and all that, I was like, who is this chick? Who is this woman? I need to know her a little bit more. So, I'm just grateful that I'm in connection with you. I really am.
Well, I appreciate you being so honest, because I think for a lot of us, we think that God is going to allow us to continue to do some of the things that we are doing and still live a fulfilled life. And it just doesn't happen like that, because just because you were in Paris doesn't mean you were fulfilled.
And what?
Now, so when this version of Val goes to Paris, it's a whole nother experience, because she sees it through different eyes, through different lenses. There's a whole nother woman that's going to experience that place of freedom, because she's free,
Absolutely.
and so that's what I think you represent, because you're well traveled. And I think a lot of people think, oh, when I get healed, then God is going to open up these doors. You can go right now, but that doesn't mean those things are going to heal you or make your life more fulfilled. And I think people spend money on things and invest money in things that's never going to get them to the place where they're really going to be healed and find fulfillment. And so the biggest part of me, and I'm going to share this before I ask you this next question. The biggest part of me was when I got to my threshold where I was tired of playing or pretending like I was good, I was fulfilled. God started telling me to tell my family, we're not going on vacation, because I've got to invest in myself. There's something wrong,
Yeah.
and I've got to address it. And if you go ahead and address it now, you won't have to worry about vacations, because out of your healing, God will begin to promote and launch you into this greater place of awareness and identity that you have no other choice but to manifest. And so
Absolutely.
I want to talk to you about the work, because I heard you say that and you always echo to me. Because honestly, to be honest with you, there are some people, when I say the work, they get scared. They're like, what?
And
You mean,
should be,
yeah,
because
you
it's
ain't gonna
ugly.
you ain't gonna just prophesy to us and pray for us and it's gonna be gone. No, you I'm gonna give you the tools, but I think people run away from doing the work, and you embraced it. And so for you doing the work, what did the work do for you?
I embraced the work, Dr. Shana, because I was ready. I was so ready. And at where I when I joined Call to Clarity, like I said, I was ready because like I had already done so much work, and I was like, you know what? There's so much more still to do, and I'm not playing. I'm not playing with this healing that I want. I see God working. I see God moving. I'm not playing with this healing. I'm not playing with this business. I'm not playing with telling women for real. You know, you said were you admired my transparency or whatever, me sharing, you know, being so open. I
Mm-hmm.
have no choice but to be open because there's no reason for me to lie. Nobody else is going to get delivered if I'm still acting like it didn't happen.
Right.
Nobody else is going to get healed if I'm still trying to pretend and duck and dodge about the story. The story is the story. The story is the story. It happened. And that's the only way other people are going to be able to get delivered. So being in Call to Clarity, I embraced the work because I was ready. And so, but it was hard because
Mm.
what? It took me back. It made me look at some things that I hadn't looked at, y'all. When you start, I'm a good compartmentalizer. I could put something in a box, tuck that thing away, stick it over here, tuck another thing, another little thing, and stick it over there. And so in Call to Clarity, the Lord started having me go through these attics and looking up under beds, the
Closets, yeah.
proverbial, and looking in closets and pulling stuff out that I had not, y'all, looked at in so long. And that thing, it was them. If you recall, them first couple of weeks, when I gave my first clarity call, I was on the call said, "This gonna be a long 6 weeks,
She
y'all."
did. She said it.
I'm
She
like,
said,
this gonna be a long 6 weeks because if I'm gonna have to look at all these things from, I mean, y'all, you start going back to when you were a kid. You start going back to things that disturbed you when you were in your teens. I initially went back to my 20s, right? And y'all already know 20s, if you tell the truth, is a little awkward age. It's a little weird age anyway, right? Because you're trying, it's
Mhm.
discovery, it's a whole lot going on in your 20s. And I was being grown in my 20s. I was living in San Francisco. I was living with the only man I have ever lived with in my life because when I got out of that, I said, God, if you get me out of this, I promise you I won't live with nobody else that ain't my husband. And if I ever told God the truth on something, I meant that thing. And I ain't been married, so guess what? I ain't living with nobody, and he can't live with me. So that was that. But the work, it was. But I would say this: it was hard work, but it was so worth it. I would
Worth
do
it.
it again. I would do it again because of the revelation that I got, the freedom that I got, the new sight that I got, the vision that I got, the new ears that I got. See, one of the things you talk about is having vision.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard somebody say, "Let me turn this down so I can see in the car. Let me turn this radio down so I can see." It's
Right.
you know, it's that kind of thing. For me, my hearing changed. I don't hear from that broken place anymore. I don't hear from a wounded place anymore. I can now hear what you've said. And if I need to stop and process it, then I can stop and process it. But I don't initially hear from a broken place.
Mm.
Not anymore. I did for years, but doing the work helped me not only with my sight, be it natural and in the spirit, it helped me hear. I don't hear from that place of brokenness anymore.
Wow.
I can hear from a healed place.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that when you start healing and seeing a different level of healing, then God started showing you that self-care was coming out of your healing, right?
Yeah.
Because we can't really say we're taking care of ourselves if we don't focus and address our issues.
Yeah. That was the thing. So when I started with the whole Momentum Mondays and all that he, birthed through me, it was all about not worrying about everybody else. You so worried about and that was the thing. So worried about what everybody else is doing. So worried about what everybody else is saying. Get in your lane, worry about you, fix your issues, work on how you're seeing, work on how you're feeling in your heart, work on you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how self-care came out of it, because I was in the mind frame. Okay, so when God started kind of letting me know it was kind of be a little bit of a coaching thing and whatever, it's going to be about relationships, and it's going to be about men, and it's going to be about, and honestly, I have a lot of affirmations on my bathroom wall, post-it notes and different things that the Lord has said to me, or word that God has given me, or what have you. And I was so busy I was so excited. So I wanted to tell everybody, oh, this is what God is doing. You know what he had me right up there? Shut up. You don't know what I'm doing. Be quiet. It's too soon. Not yet. I mean, those were some of the things that he had me, as I'm reciting my thing, I'm like, don't burn any bridges. Shut up. It's too soon. I mean, I'm reading them out loud, because he's like, you're trying to tell people what you don't know yet. You don't know what I'm doing. So why
Right.
don't you just let me continue to work, and you just be quiet? So self-care kind of kind of slowly emerged, right? Because like I said, I thought it was going to be this other thing, and God's like, no, I'm going to show you how to take care of you. And then when you do that, then I want you to tell other people. I want you to show them how to put themselves on their to-do list. I was walking around stressed and worried and thinking about all these different things. And God's like, no. We're going to work on all of that first. And then we'll show you, have you tell other people how to put themselves on their to-do list. And I'm like, okay. But I was so excited, Dr. Rashana. I was just trying to tell it all. Oh, God's saying this and God's saying that. And he's like, be quiet. You don't know what I'm doing. You really, and I didn't know. I just was excited. I could hear him. I was excited he was saying something. So,
Yeah.
that's really how the whole self-care coaching journey came about. I had to start taking care of me. It was the mask on first. You hear him say it on the airplane, right? If this plane hits turbulence and them oxygen masks come down, don't be trying to help nobody. Help you.
Right.
After you get you together, then you can help your neighbor, kind of a thing. So that's how self-care really kind of showed up in my life.
Wow. Y'all see why I love her? I got her on here because when I tell you, when I heard you say about you doing the work and then being transparent, you had no other choice because you had to help other people. I love the fact that you can recognize your process of sharing, because I think as a coach, our nature, when you have a coach's heart, our nature is to share as soon as we get it. But a great coach waits until they have a system.
Yeah.
And so God was showing you, you're a coach at heart, but you want to be a great coach. You don't want to just put something in the atmosphere. You want to give them the system.
Yeah.
So you show them what to follow and how to get to the place where you have. So for you to get the system, you got to finish the system. You got to go through the system yourself, get the blueprint, and then, or the framework, and then share it with other people. So, I love the fact that you talked about hearing differently, seeing what happened with yourself. Did you receive courage? Because I think a lot of times people want courage, but they don't know their brokenness and their rejection has their courage to launch, to speak, to communicate, to offer, to go into another relationship. A lot of the courage barriers we have is because we have not dealt with our issues from our past, because when we were young, we didn't have courage issues, right?
None.
Bold. They had to tell us to be quiet, right? They like, girl, sit somewhere. You talk
down somewhere, right?
But when you start discovering, you start seeing the mirror, you start getting on the altar, which is a mirror, and God start revealing who you were. Did that make you courageous? Did it make you want to try new things? Tell us what happened there.
So I've always been a little courageous. I feel like I've always kind of had some courage in me, but it's sort of like you said, when we were younger, didn't nobody have to tell you to try it. You just tried it all, right? I think about moving. I just upped and moved to San Francisco on the bus at 19. Bye, I'm out of here. But as life started to do life on me, I got more withdrawn and I stopped being as courageous. I feel like sometimes when I would jump out there and be courageous, I felt like I was beat back. Don't do that. You shouldn't do that. You're doing too much. You're saying too much. Why you say it like that? Because I've always been pretty outspoken. I've always been pretty transparent too. And so doing the work with Call to Clarity helped me to rediscover my courageousness, my boldness. You call them keys, right? I found that key. And the thing about the key was I'd always had it. In this instance, I always had the key, but I had put it down somewhere and I didn't know where it was,
The
right?
key.
This the keys. So I think about coming when I come home every day, and when I was going, well, I work from home now, but when I was going to work every day, I came in, I had my keys, and I put my keys in the same place every day. If I personally do not put my keys in the same place every day, I trust you, I'm not going to know where they are in the morning. If I put them in my purse, I don't know that. If I put them on the counter in the kitchen, I don't know that. They got to be where I put them. And that's the same thing with my courage key. I had misplaced it. And it was in the junk drawer, and it was up under the extension cord, and it was in there with the batteries, and it was in there with all the things, and I didn't know where it was. And so Call to Clarity allowed me seriously to rediscover my courage key. And now, Dr. Shauna, I promise you, I'm throwing it all at the wall. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try that. And if it don't work, guess what? It don't work, but I tried it, and I'm gonna try something else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna try something else. And now I feel like I have my voice. One of the things you always talk about not being muzzled. I didn't think I was muzzled, but I was. Because I couldn't say everything I wanted to say. Depended on the audience. Now, yeah, we got to have some discretion. I absolutely believe that. But in certain settings and around certain people, I was like, well, I better not say that because they're not going to like it, whatever. But I've found my voice. I'm unmuzzled, as you like to say, and I found my courageous key, my key of courage. It's with me, and I keep it every day, and I keep it on me, and nobody can take it from me, And honestly, I'll say this: if I am a little nervous, guess what? Do it scared,
Right.
but do it. And so I'm out here. I'm in these streets. I'm out here in these coaching streets. I'm out here in these self-care streets. I'm out here. I'm trying to learn. I'm gleaning from people because I don't know it all. I do not know it all, not even in the self-care arena. But I'm gonna tell you what. You say do the most because people that do the most get the most. And listen, I'm listening. I'm listening. You said do the most because people that do the most. One of the things I have I'm saying out of my mouth, because you're talking about us right now manifesting with our mouth, I'm gonna take over these health and wellness streets.
Come on.
I'm gonna take over. I ain't there yet, but I'm gonna be. And I believe it. I believe it. I believe it with everything in me. And so I'm gonna keep trying all the things that the Lord tells me to try. I ain't gonna just be out here doing anything. But if God tells me to give it a whirl, I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah. Because sometimes He's testing you just to see if you'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe
it's one of those obedient assignments to see if you can trust and you have the faith to step out and explore something that you don't even know how it's going to turn out. And sometimes it's big and sometimes it's a door leading to another door. But I love the fact that you talked about shrinking when you get into other people's presence, because that was a trigger from something that happened years ago. Yeah. And God wants to dismantle those triggers from our childhood or our relationships that did not serve us, or they were unhealthy relationships, whether we made it unhealthy or someone else or both of us had a part to play. I think that's one of the things that I love that you share, because it really shows us that if you feel like you have to shrink, you got to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself why. why can't you say what you know is truth? Why can't you say what you know is on your heart? Is it because you feel like they're going to judge you? Are they going to judge you? Or is it just you? You know? And so I love the fact that you shared that. So you're talking about being in these streets. Tell us some of the things that you have launched. We know that you have some entrepreneur things. You've got some events that you have, of course. Kind of tell us what you're doing, right now.
Well, I'm grateful. First of all, I'm just grateful to God because he's trusting me, right? And I'm in ministry. I am a minister and all the things. And I feel like this is ministry for me, right? So I've launched a retreat that's going to be happening this week. I wish, that more people were going to be there, but guess what? The people that are supposed to be there are the people that are there, and that's this coming up, not this weekend, next weekend, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So women will start showing up on Thursday, and we've got 2 days of phenomenal workshops. We've got some fun things to do. We've got some release that's going to be taking place and some deliverance, because you know what? It's holistic for me. It's like, you know what? We need a little bit of all of it. So I'm grateful to God that he's allowed me to launch this retreat. I also am like I said, self-care coach, and I've got a 6 weeks program that I'm currently doing right now. I think we're in week 4. It's called Sense of One's Own Worth, and it's all about finding out, what does self-care look like for you? Because self-care for Dr. Rashana doesn't look the same as it looks for me, right? Self-care for any of our girlfriends and people that we hang out with doesn't look the same. And so often we've taken, well, let's go to brunch and let's go get our nails and our feet done, as that's all that self-care is. But it's so much more to it, right? I love a good mimosa, so I'm not down in brunch. Right. But we've got to start to peel back those layers and do that inner work. So that's going on right now. We've also got, so last year, I only did it the one time last year, but I think I'm going to do it a couple of times this year. We did Godly Graffiti, and that was the painting event. And you came to that.
I was there.
You came to that. It was such a great event. And I'm like, you know what? I see doing that again this year. I think I'm going to do it in the summertime, because people like to be out and doing things. And so we'll definitely be doing Godly Graffiti. But what I would love to tell people to do is check us out on YouTube. And I think my YouTube channel was Mo Life LLC, MO Life LLC. We do a podcast there, and it's called Saturday Morning Spotlight. And we just take about 20 minutes and we just shine a spotlight on a self-care area, right? So last week I had my boss, who is such a great supporter of all that I do. On my 9 to 5, y'all. When I tell you God is blessing, at my 9 to 5, my boss was on my broadcast last week, and we talked about self-care when everything changes. What do you mean? She's from Brazil. She's been here a year, right? She's brought her husband and her son over from Brazil. So how is she handling that? What does that look like, right? So we just kind of take about 20 minutes, nothing long, just a quick snapshot at self-care in different areas. So come on over to the YouTube channel, like, share, tag, all the different things, and just check us out. Spend a few minutes with us talking about a little bit of self-care.
Wow. So that's on Saturdays?
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. That's on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Eastern. And of course, you can always go back and watch a replay, but we air it live on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on YouTube.
Okay. And you guys also can go to her website, where you can pretty much connect to her and find out what's going on at Momentum Life. It is momentumlife.life. It's
Absolutely. It's not a typo. It's not .com or anything like that. It is .life.
Yeah. So tell us also, Val, about your group, because you have a group, and it is private, but it's open to the public.
It is open to women. And y'all, there's always some guys trying to get in the doggone group. We got to weed through them. So anyway, nonetheless, Self-Care It's a Must is my Facebook group, you guys. I love these ladies. When I tell you, I love these ladies. I've got ladies that I talk to that DM me that, work, that we just have clicked. And so this group is all things self-care. We do a little bit of a Bible study on Sunday. So what happened is I decided I was going to start reading the Bible 52 weeks. What is it called? The Bible in 52 weeks is what it's called. It's a women's Bible thing, whatever. So I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. And I shared it in the group. All these ladies were like, you know what? I'm going to do that too. Sure, how can I get the book? So on and so forth. So what we do is you read your Bible, you read the lessons at home on your own, and then somebody who volunteers comes in on Sunday and gives takeaways. Now we're not preaching, so all my preachers chill out. We're not preaching in there. I'm like, y'all don't come in here with your sermonette and all the things, but come in and give some takeaways, some nuggets that that spoke to you. So there's no right, there's no wrong. So we do that in the group. I do a segment called It Takes a Village, because it's taking a village out here in these self-care streets, right? We do that on Wednesday. This month I've done it every Wednesday, but that's going to be a lot. So I'm going to start to do it like once a month in March, where we talk about all things self-care. So we talked about the caregiver. The caregiver to the caregiver was my guest yesterday. Her name, Coach Vendi. She came in because she's a caregiver. And so she coaches caregivers, teaching them how to put themselves on their agenda as a caregiver for someone else. We talked to someone 2 weeks ago. She's a breakthrough strategist. So we talked to her. And then next week, I've got a young lady coming in talking about chronic pain, right? As we get older, we got some aches, we got some pains. And then I've got a young lady we're going to talk to in a couple of weeks who is a divorce recovery coach. So, we're just trying to talk about it because I want to highlight the ladies that are also in the group, because I don't know all the things. I don't have all the answers, but I'm praying to God that this be not only a place that we can pour out, but that this place is also somewhere where we can be filled. So, I just feel like he has entrusted me with these ladies, and I take them seriously. And I'm really doing all that I can to pour into them. I know it's more to it. I know God has something else in store. I know there's more. I know there's more to it. I'm not even worried about that. I'm doing what he told me to do right now.
Wow. Y'all heard all of this stuff. So just imagine if she hadn't done the work.
I wouldn't be able to do this. I would not be equipped. I would not be qualified. But the one thing that I know for sure is that God has worked with me for 25 years in ministry. He worked with me for over 25 years, over 20 years, I'll say that, in ministry as a minister myself. Because I started ministering in 2000. Wow. And when I found myself in a place where I was like, you know what, I don't know about this and whatever, God's like, oh no, you think I put over 20 something years of work into you and I'm not going to get a return on my investment? Oh no, ma'am. And so before, I think I was like a little afraid of that, but now I'm kind of like, use me. Come on, God. Yeah, you did. You equipped me. I'm ready. I'm able. One of the things, Dr. Rashawn, you've been talking about more, and I know I'm sorry if I'm taking.
No, you're good. You're good.
Time. You've been talking about more, and I sat down today and I said, God, what does more mean for me? Because one of my biggest breakthroughs in your class was that I do feel like I found more of myself. I found myself, but I found more of myself. And I said, well, God, what does that mean? I'm connected to a coach. I'm connected to a mentor who's talking about more. But what is more for Valerie? Right? Because you've shared what more is for you. And I'm like, but what is more for Valerie? And God said that it's mastering myself and things that concern me. That's part of it. It's being open to what God is doing. It's realizing or getting the realization that I can do anything that he sets me to do because I'm qualified. He's done so much in me. And then the E is that I'm empowered and I'm equipped. I got what I need and I got what it takes. And so that's what more is for me.
Wow. Y'all, if I wasn't, if I'm not a proud mentor coach right now, I don't know because I have just, I believe that your healing has opened up a floodgate for you of things that you probably heard before, but your mouth could not allow it to proceed out
Absolutely.
out of it. And so it's just beautiful for you to say, yeah, he said this to me and I'm fixing to share it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
God gave me a definition. Dr. Shauna got hers, but this is mine. Because
Mm-hmm.
you overthink when you're not healed. You second guess yourself. You can't come up with your own revelation because you feel like you have to take somebody else's. Oh, that'll
Right.
preach right there.
Yeah, it will.
Because we have become replicas and robots in the spirit to other people's anointings. But God has given you your own glimpse of what that word means to you, and you can share it with boldness, knowing that He gave it to you, and it doesn't slight my definition of revelation
At
because
all.
God is speaking to all of us in our different dimensions. So I love the fact that you said, "Yeah, you've been talking about this, but this is what God said is for me. This is my personal prophecy." For more. This is what God is speaking to me because sometimes we're trying to get the result, but we're not in our own process.
Amen.
We don't want to accept our own process, but we want the result that somebody else have. Well,
Yeah.
for you to get your own result or the result that they have, you got to go through your own
You gotta
process.
go through your own process. And
Yeah,
you've been talking about that. You've been,
yeah,
I mean, really, I'm eating good these days, y'all. I'm eating good these days. I'm eating good these days. I'm at the table and I got, they said Thanksgiving, you got both elbows up. I'm eating good these days. And I'm just, I'm, I'm overjoyed. If I don't know, I mean, I'm almost speechless that I'm in such an amazing place. And I'm just so in awe of what God is doing. I really am. I'm every day I talk about it. Me and my niece, we talk about God and everything that He's doing and this how He's blowing our minds. He's
yes.
blowing my mind.
Wow. All right. Well, I want to leave the audience and the viewers with this. I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight because I know Thursday nights are precious because you're leaning into the weekend. you
I
know,
mean,
you got it on your mind. You're like, I'm gonna get off at 12 o'clock. I'm gonna leave at 3:30. At
yeah,
3:32, you
yeah,
know, I'm gonna have my bag packed. I ain't gonna even unpack my bag on Friday when I go in. I'm just gonna take out what I need. I ain't gonna unpack it.
yeah.
Because I'm going home. But so Thursdays, I know is kind of a start to wind down day. So I appreciate you guys. And High Ground is in here heavy,
Hey
heavy.
ladies, love y'all, sisters, love y'all, love y'all, love y'all.
Yeah. So Higher Ground is in. Val is inside the mentorship, which is available to graduates of Call to Clarity. Because I feel like once you receive clarity about what God is saying to you and what your life looks like in His design, that's just the beginning. And so we start from that place and we start mentoring about business and ministry and launching and ideas and staying spiritually aware of what God is saying and digging into your identity even the more. And then you have the support and the accountability of other people, other women. So I love that you guys are there for each other as well. What would you tell a woman that was afraid to look in the mirror and do the work? This is our last question before we leave. What would you tell that woman that's saying, some of that stuff's a little bit too painful for me. I'm gonna have to leave that one alone right there. Yeah, I want to travel. I want to go to Paris. That's on my vision board. I want to be remarried. I want that friend circle. I want to go out and brunch. I want to do all these things. I got an idea. I got a book in me, and something just won't let me launch that book. But going looking in the mirror, going back to my past, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. What would you tell that woman that's afraid to look in the mirror? What would you say to her? What's gonna happen if she decides to look in the mirror?
I would tell her that it is absolutely worth it. It is worth it. It is worth going back to the pain. I
Mm,
didn't know that until I looked at the pain. That very first week in Call to Clarity, when I gave my accountability, my clarity call or clarity count, I was in tears. If you recall, I was in tears. I'm like, I forgot about this. I didn't want to, I would have never thought to bring this back up anywhere. But I think that was my biggest breakthrough. I think that was one of my biggest breakthroughs, to actually go back and face it. We can't get better if we're pretending that it's not there. We can't get better if we don't remember that it's not there,
Yeah.
right? You know, that it's out there. And for me, I would tell her, sis, you're going to have a group of ladies that's going to hold your hand. They're going to walk with you. They're going to be your good girlfriend, right? They're going to be your good girlfriend. And they're going to walk with you. They're going to cry with you. They're going to do all the things. And then on the other side of that, they're going to say, okay, now dry your face.
Yeah.
It happened, but it's gone. It's over now. You don't have to stay right there. That's the piece that we forget. It's the going through it. There is another side, but
Right.
you're gonna have to face it. You're gonna have to pull your big girl panties on and get through it. But there is support. Anybody going through Call to Clarity, there is support. You are not by yourself. You are not alone. You are not the Lone Ranger. You're not sitting on an aisle by yourself. There's people there that are holding you up every inch and every single step of the way. But you need to just face it. And guess what? It is going to be worth it. I would do it. Honestly, Dr. Rusha, I would do it again. And you saw, I was crushed. I was like, oh my God, what in the world is this? And I was really wanting to go, you know what? Y'all can have this. Y'all go on these next, y'all got these next 5 weeks. I'm good, right?
Yeah.
But even having cried it through, that was release. I was getting, even sitting there that day, playing it out in my brain, telling you guys about it, I was getting, it was breaking off. It could no longer hold me. It couldn't keep me bound. It was a lie that was finally destroyed, right? In sign language, destroyed is this, right? And that's what it felt like. It was like, okay, no, it's gone. You do not have to sit with that ever, ever, ever again. It's a wrap. But when you don't face it, you might go back and look at it and take a peek and it hurts. So you peek at it and it hurts and it bothers you. But let's destroy it. Let's destroy it. It's worth it. I would tell her, do it. Do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Because I always say the healing, I have my own definition of healing, and it's when you take your power back from your pain, but it's also one of those places that it allows you to grow in a place that's always had you stunted. Healing allows the growth to happen again. You begin to grow again. Before, you feel like you're in a container, you're tight, you can't grow, you're stunted. But I saw a difference between week 1 and 2. And y'all, when she got in week 5, with them keys, we were just like, I think week 1 and 2, she was kind of looking at me side eye, y'all. They was looking at me like, what,
Listen, what you got us in here doing?
But week 5, honey, I should have passed the offering plate because she was in there like, y'all got one more. I got one more. I got one more. I got one more.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
so good. It was so good. It was so worth it. And to the people who wonder, you're worth it. If you're I don't know, you are absolutely worth the freedom that you're going to get by walking through this class, by walking through this course. You deserve it. You've already been through the hell. Why stay? Don't stay there. Don't stay there. Don't let the memory of the hell keep you bound. Let's get free. It's time. It's time. We're in our 50s. We're in our 40s, and still bound up by stuff that was going on and happened to us when we were 15 and we were 25, and because we don't want to face it. But let's face it and let's get free.
Right.
Let's walk different. Let's walk different.
And y'all, you see, we have our sweatshirts on. So these are available. on the momentumlife.life. Y'all see how she put life in there twice? Because she lifing.
Listen.
Oh, so tell us about the hoodie. Tell us
So
about the hoodie.
listen, it says feel it so God can heal it. And that's one of my mottos, because I've always been one of those people who I've always had to feel the thing. You know, I'm like something, and it doesn't always feel good. But if you feel it and not pretend, and don't pretend that you're not feeling whatever it is, then God can take it. But when you're acting like it doesn't even exist, then He's gonna let you have it. So this is just one of those things that I like to say: feel it so God can heal it. You know, you can get this on the website, momentumlife.life. Go on in there. We've got them in several colors. Dr. Rashana's wearing like a neon, so you can get in a neon. I'm wearing a mustard. There's a brown. I think there's a red. There's several colors. There's like a some kind of heather gray or something, but there's several colors out there. And if you would love one, I say go on out there and get you a feel it so you can heal it. Feel it so God can heal it sweatshirt. And it comes in a tee. I think it comes in a long sleeve tee too. So if you don't want a sweatshirt, you know, maybe you're like me. Sometimes you're just hot because you know you of a certain age and things is happening.
No summers.
Yeah, your personal summer. You know, you might want something else. So
Okay, so we have people on here that's ready to order. So I'm gonna put the website up again, but you guys make sure you go to, and everything's on momentumlife.life. You can go on that website and order you a hoodie. Look at her cohort, the upcoming cohort. Now, when is that cohort? It's next month or
we are
April?
going to start the next cohort in April. I don't have the exact date just yet, but you can put in if you go to the contact me section on the website, we can get you on the wait list and do all the things and reach back out to you. If you are in the group, if you're in the Facebook group, just DM me. We got you. DM me. We'll get you together. Okay.
Okay. So you guys, the Facebook group is a private group. She will approve you, but the name of the group is Self Care. It's a must.
Yep. Ladies only.
Ladies only.
Ladies only.
Men, y'all find your men hub in a men's group. And she's not gonna approve you.
I'm not. We're gonna block you, sir.
Thank you, Val, for coming on. I have enjoyed you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate who you are. I thank you for walking through the fire and the hell that you walked through so that you could rescue some of us. And I appreciate it.
I love you. I thank God for you sharing your story. And I appreciate you trusting me to go on the journey and to stay on the journey with me. Because, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, I got this, I'm running. But you wanted to make sure, you know what? If I'm here until God says for me to leave, I'm going to get everything I need to get. Because I think one thing that I've learned, we leave too soon.
Yeah.
You know, and I've learned from personal experience that sometimes you haven't even scratched the surface for what God wants to expose you to. So until God really reveals to you it's your time to move, you get everything you're supposed to get from that person or from that hub or that church or, you know, that place, because in that there's some depth. There's more that God wants to expose you to. And I think we have missed our Jonathans because we didn't stay long enough.
Right.
You know, or we didn't allow the relationship to be vetted long enough to share those intimate spaces and conversations, because it comes over time, you know.
Yeah.
And so I want to thank you for trusting me and also trusting the process and invested in yourself, because you are a coach, because you have a coach. There's nothing worse than you being a coach and you don't have a coach.
Coachless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. You know, I thought when I went through the first release that you did, I was like, oh, okay, well, I got what I needed. And then I was, you know, but I was still around. We know mutual people and all the things. So I was still around. And then and I think I told you this before. I was sitting there, I was like, Lord, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. And I was just kind of like, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And you showed up in May talking about blooming in June. I said, what's she talking about over here? What? And it woke me up. And then I started at 5 because you were doing something. You did something every day, I think, and I
Yeah.
was on everything you was on. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And then you did the posture thing, and I was like, I'm going to call the clarity. And I was like, it was just, it wasn't time. It just, I guess I needed to go through what I needed to go through to find out that it wasn't time to depart. But I'm like you said, I'm staying until God says otherwise.
Yeah. And because you're being poured into, you can pour so much more freely into your community because you're not empty. You
Right.
know, you got people pouring into you, and then that spring or well is still being filled in you, and then you're pouring from a secure and a full place. You're not, I always say, pour from a full horn. You know, when David was supposed to be anointed by Samuel, God told him to fill his horn.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
fill the horn
yeah.
all the way up, you know, and then pour on him. And I think a lot of times we're trying to pour from an empty horn. You know, you're trying to anoint people, pour into people, but there's no oil there, you know. And so I love the fact that you recognize that not only am I your mentor and part, coach, mentor, but you also have other people that you're gleaning from that are teaching you about things that you really want to be on a fast track to get to. And acceleration needs to be something that you're trying to redeem time because you don't want to just figure it out on your own. Like, and I think that's the beauty of us as coaches. Hey, why would you try to go through and stumble through a process and I've already gone through for you?
Exactly.
I can I can't go through it for you, but I can tell you some of the mistakes you don't need to make and
Yeah.
some strategies and systems that you can use to get through that thing a little
You
bit
pay
faster.
for the shortcut. You pay for the shortcut. Can I
Yeah,
pay for the shortcut, please? I don't want to have to go the long way. And the
yeah.
other thing that I just heard God say to me too, that this was a healthy place.
Mm,
It was a healthy place. Not every place is healthy. And this was a healthy place. And I'm appreciative of it.
wow. Well, I appreciate you. Yeah, I promise I didn't pay her to say all of this stuff.
No, not at all.
All
And it,
right.
yeah, yeah.
I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate you making time. I'm excited about partnering with you, coming to the retreat, y'all. So I'm excited about because when you start getting calls from people and they say, "Hey, I'm having a retreat," you're like, "We're doing what?" you know, "Yeah, I'm having a 3-day retreat or 2-day retreat. Can you come? I'll be there." You know,
Yes,
because you want to be around people that are launching and moving and exploring. And so I'm excited to be a part of what you're doing now because you've been a part of what I've been doing. Now I get to be a part of what God has given you and sit in what you spoke. That's
yeah,
one of the best things that you could speak something and speak it so long that you sit in it.
absolutely.
You believe it and you sit in it, and that's when you know that it came to fruition because you're sitting in what you said.
Yeah,
You're sitting in it.
love
So
it.
I'm
Thank
excited
you.
about the
Thank
retreat.
you. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm excited too. So I'm excited to have you there because I know you're gonna bless. And that's what I want for the ladies that are coming. I want to expose them to the best. I can
Amen.
stop right there. Boom. Done.
Y'all, she making me blush over here. Thank you, Val. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
sharing me with your community. Because y'all, when I tell y'all, when she took Call to Clarity, she started putting bugs in people's ear. You need to get it. So it makes it easy. It makes my job easy because when they are willing to share their story, women are like, maybe I need to take Call to Clarity. So if that's you, and you just need some questions answered and Val has inspired you to do take a healing journey and an identity journey, because that's what healing does. It's connected to your identity and your direction, and you feel like, what, I'm interested in getting some more information on Call to Clarity. I want you to put clarity in the chat, or you can reach out to me via inbox and I'll send you a link so we can get connected and speak for a 15-minute clarity call. So Val, any parting words before you leave and we conclude tonight? Any parting words you want to leave with us?
I just want to say thank you for having me on. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. I don't share it much, and maybe I should share it more. But thank you for allowing me to share my story, and thank you for having me on. I love you, and I appreciate you more than you know.
I love you too. And thank you. Thank you guys. Y'all give Val some hearts. Coach, your good
Your
girlfriend.
good girlfriend. Now look, I done told you, your good girlfriend. Thick and thin, ride or die, setback to come back, break down to break through. Your
Yes.
good girlfriend.
And Pastor Tina knows we were all in class Tuesday, y'all. And it's so powerful because you know how God will give you a word, but he's giving it to other people that's connected to you. So it's just confirmation after confirmation. So I started talking about something, and then Val finished what I said, and then somebody else said, and so look, I'm sitting in there, and after a while I had to just sit back. Val was on fire. So I have to sit back, and all the mentees that's in there, all the ladies in there, they was like Val said, probably. I said, look, I need to let her teach tonight, because when I tell you she had that fire.
Amen.
And I just sat back, I'm like, Tanya knows, Tanya's on there. I'm like, Lord, let her do what she's gonna do. Let her do the thing.
Do the thing. Come on and do the thing.
But he confirmed that. You were talking about a seat. I was talking about a seat, but then God just let you rip. I mean, he just propelled you in that word, and it just was time for you to release that. And you blessed every woman, because all of them were saying, that blessed me, Val. That blessed me, Val. Well, like Val said, and I just saw God just show up in you.
Amen.
I just saw him show up in you. And that's the mark of a good coach. When you do not want people to be dependent on you, and you elevate and you push other people to stand in their place of power. So when I saw that in you, I'm like, not that you didn't have it, but just saying what she never said, y'all, which she probably would have said before. Well, I don't want Dr. Rashawn to think I'm taking over, so I'm gonna be quiet. That didn't come out. She just like, and God said this, and he gave me this revelation. I mean, she just let it roll. You know why? Because she had liberty.
Yeah.
And she knows we don't operate like that. So for me, it was just a proud moment for me. And it was God. It was God. Yeah. So I thank you for coming on. Yolanda's blowing you up on her. She said, you go, you go, you go.
That's my niece. I love her. Love you, yo.
Yeah. Tanya and Yolanda are blowing it in the ties.
That's my sister right there. That's that TT. Y'all don't know TT. I know.
Yeah. So Tanya was on last week, and y'all, is so amazing because you can see their circle being touched. Because when you get healed, or you get a portion of your healing, I call it a wave, because a wave overtakes you, it saturates you in something, right? But even though you still have work that you are going to do, that wave blesses you, because you'll never be the same, because you're wet with healing. And so when you first get that big wave, you want the people that you're connected to be the same way.
Yeah.
And so you start sharing from this place to say, y'all, I don't know about this. And you start dealing with them in a way that you're like, I want to share this with you, because I want us all to go up and blow up together. So I appreciate you sharing me with your community, because I've seen people come to the class because of you. Yeah.
Praise God. Thank you.
Yeah. So you got Sandra Grant. I don't know if she's part of your community, but she is. I think it's Sandra Grant. She's been in here. She said, what a blessing you ladies are. Oh, amazing. Well, we don't know you, Miss Grant, but we thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, tuning in with us. Please go on self-care. It's a must. Join the Facebook group. Follow us. We'll be on next. I always get down to this, y'all. Next week I will not be on.
No, okay.
I will be on, but I'm going to the shelter. Those of you that know, I partner with a shelter here in Union City. Well, not here, but in Georgia, in Union City. We're actually going to the shelter to do some volunteer work next Thursday, the 22nd. So we won't have the Heal Life next Thursday, but we will be on the following Thursday, which is the 29th.
29th.
Yeah. So we'll be on for our last segment of the Heal Life. But Val, thank you so much. She says she's on your group. She's in your group, Sandra Grant.
Absolutely. I love it. Hey, Sandra, thank you for for tuning in. Love you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you guys. Give us some hearts. Val, stay back in the green room just a minute.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on. Y'all give us some hearts that she gets off the live. Yay! All right, ladies. I see you guys. Those of you that said clarity, I will send you a link so that we can chat. Candace and Sandra, Ty, if you can send my link to them really quick, you can go ahead and make an appointment for next week. I think we have some openings on Tuesday and Wednesday, and maybe Thursday morning of next week. So go ahead and make your clarity call appointments. They are perfectly, absolutely free. And I think you'll find that not only will you get some information about call to clarity, but you'll also get some clarity just from that 15-minute call. Sometimes you just need to voice what you have on the inside of you. You need to let it out. And you have the answers on the inside of you, but you have to have a sounding board or someone that pulls it out of you, what's going on with you, so that you can find clarity. So I would love to do that for you. I would love to be your coach, your healing and clarity coach. I want to tell you guys, those of you that may not know me, and then I'm going to, because y'all, I'm not at home. You know, I'm in Dallas. I'm seeing my children. I went to see one daughter, and now I'm here to see the other one here in Dallas. But I deal with visionaries, women that are visionaries. And let me tell you why. Because I have always been a visionary, but I have not been able to always had the ability to live the life of a visionary. And the reason why I wasn't able to live the life that I saw is because I had what I call alignment blockers, things that hindered me from walking in what I saw. I knew that it was for me. It belonged to me. It was mine. God promised it to me, but I was hindered and blocked by things that I refused to address. And so my specialty area is dealing with women that are visionaries, but they need assistance and coaching to get over those alignment blockers, things that hinder them, stop them, make them downgrade, downsize, and second guess and overthink what they're supposed to be doing for God and what God has spoken over them, so that they never walk in their destiny. And so if that's you and you need a coach, you need a visionary coach, you see things for yourself, but you can't walk in it. It seems like you feel stunted, you feel limited, you feel like you're in a box, you're in a dark place, you can't hear, you can't see. God has a vision for you, but you've got to be able to come into alignment to see that vision unfold, because vision is not just one place. It unfolds as you continue to align yourself in your life. And so I want to invite you guys to get on a call with me next week, and I will be glad to speak to you, Candace and Sandra and whoever else is on here. Thank you, Higher Ground, for meeting me, and everyone, my family, my Facebook friends and family. Thank you guys for joining us for the Heal Life tonight. It's been a blessing. Remember, it's easier to live healed than it is bound. I thank you guys for sharing and liking the broadcast, and I will see you guys on the 29th. All right. God bless. Good night.